Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Israeli-backed American contractors guarding aid centers in Gaza are using live ammunition and stun grenades as starving Palestinians scramble for food. That's according to an investigation. Media has reported the accounts by 2 contractors from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, although the organization has strongly denied the allegations, describing them as categorically false. GHF was established in February to deliver desperately needed aid to people in the besieged enclave, but its work has been heavily criticized by international aid groups.
God.
When this guy was shooting into this group, this man dropped to the ground and was motionless. Then the other contractor who was standing there was like, "Damn, I think you got one." But that's an obstacle. They're right. And then they laughed about it. I think you hit one. I brought this to the attention of the leadership directly. I was like, I don't. And then the leadership said to me, "Well, you have no way of knowing that person was hit with a bullet. Maybe they tripped. Maybe they were tired and they passed out. You have the inherent right of self-defense. If there's anything that you feel uncomfortable with, shoot and ask questions later. If you feel threatened, shoot to kill and ask questions later." That's a direct quote. And if we're on a site and somebody, is any way aggressive towards you, take them out.
Russia has become the first country to formally recognize Taliban rule, with Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi calling it a courageous decision. He met Russia's ambassador to Afghanistan, Dmitry Jinov, in Kabul, where Mr. Jinov officially conveyed his government's decision to recognize the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. Muttaqi said it was a new phase of positive relations, mutual respect and constructive engagement, and that the shift would serve as an example to other countries. Hamas says it is consulting other Palestinian groups before giving a formal response to the latest proposal for a new Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal put forward by the US. President Donald Trump said on Friday morning that he expected to know within 24 hours whether Hamas had agreed to the plan. He said earlier this week that Israel had accepted the conditions necessary for a 60-day ceasefire. Diego Jota's family, including his parents, have gathered at a chapel in their hometown of Gondomar in Portugal. A public wake is due to follow after Jota and his brother Andre Silva died yesterday in Spain. Their car crashed in the province of Zamora. Officials say it went off-road due to a tyre blowout while overtaking another vehicle. Liverpool fans have also been paying tribute to Diego Jota at Anfield.
I got a call from my mum, and she said Jota had died, and I was like, what? I was so shocked. I sprung out of bed immediately, and I couldn't believe it.
He's great, I only live over there, he's great, yeah. He wasn't, we didn't know him as such, you know what I mean? I bet the players are devastated, everyone's devastated.
Mali's military leader, General Assimi Goïta, has been granted a 5-year presidential term by the transitional parliament, which is renewable without elections. The junta leader, who has seized power twice, had promised the return of democracy last year, but it never materialized. The bill granting his new mandate said the transition would last as many times as necessary and until Mali was pacified. The Namibian government has announced a temporary ban on state funerals amid criticism over the rising costs of burials. Only President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has the power to exempt funerals from the moratorium. Authorities say the moratorium would last until April 2026, while a review committee looks into the criteria and process associated with bestowing official funerals. And it's the return gig that Oasis fans have been waiting for as the band kicks off their reunion tour at Cardiff's Principality Stadium on Friday night. The venue has been hosting soundchecks and rehearsals all week, with passers-by treated to snippets of songs such as Cigarettes and Alcohol, Wonderwall and Champagne Supernova. Noel Gallagher said it's sounding huge and that there's no going back now. The Oasis Live 25 tour was the biggest concert launch ever seen in the UK and Ireland, with more than 10 million fans from 158 countries queuing to buy tickets last summer. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.